Hey guys! So I am here to review another deck today, actually two decks, specifically the Bicycle Limited Edition series. Now if you haven't heard about these, well it's okay because this series has been discontinued. They only released the first two, so the other 8 designs never really left the factory. Well yes, so getting into these, talking about the specifics, obviously this is an all-white deck, as you can gather from the box itself, and this is going to be a blue deck, as you can gather from the box. So yes, we'll look at the first, number 1 first. And yes, so that's a very nice box. Features an angel riding right at you in a circle, a little bit of some gold detailing. And yes, that is French on the box as well as English. Now, these are standard bikes. The standard faces, standard pips, standard lettering, everything. The backs are different though, and so are the jokers. And it features an air cushion finish as well on both of them. So yes, that's the box on the first one. Box on the second one. The angel is significantly larger, yet it's still riding right at you. And it features silver accents instead of gold. Still has some French lettering on the bottom. Again, standard faces, standard sizing, air cushion finish as before. So yes, it's nice. And the backs are where you find the barcodes, as well as the 1 and number 2. So yeah, you have that there instead of on the underneath as it usually is. So yes, let's look at the first one first. And we'll see what you get. Put the box over here. So yes, here are the backs of them, and we'll get into that in just a minute. And then we have Jack, Queen, let's move that over, King, Alright, so obviously there's not much to report on different looking cards. Like I said, they are standard. Even your ace is standard, your face cards are standard, the aces are standard. The only difference in this deck and being limited are the jokers and the back. So yes, let's take a look at your custom joker really quick before I show you the backs. One is the guarantee, and then one is the full size, so we'll take a look at this one, since that's the more interesting one. And since it is the first deck, you have the joker leaning up against a 1. And then you have a horseshoe, and it looks to be like a horseshoe and an S, so like a modified dollar sign, I think. So yes, you have a pretty cool looking joker there. More gesture-like. Then we'll look at the back. So yes, I like this one because it even though it's white, it offers in and of itself a little performance border. So that's really nice. And then it really looks standard, like the circle here, it looks very standard in the middle. But other than that, it's really different. It still features some of their standard elements, like the angels in the corner, and then the angels right there. But other than that, it's a really nice little styling. It's not so different, but it's not completely the same either. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, and that's the first one. That's what you get. Really no need to look at that one any further. The back was the interesting thing. So getting into the second one. So obviously these are all blue. I like them. They're pretty nifty. We'll put that up here. And then King, Queen, Jack. Alright. So, as I've stated before, nothing different about the faces. Almost shouldn't have even showed you the faces of them. Again, nothing different. Looking at the jokers, you see it has the one with the guarantee and then the full size. So, and it has the 2, unlike the first one, which had the 1. So I thought that was really cool. So we'll put the guarantee away so you can look at the Joker a little bit in better detail. And I like that the Joker's doing something different, you know. And I would have liked to have seen what they did for all 10 of them, but yeah, well, we'll never know. Okay, so putting these up, let's take a look at the actual backs of these. So here's the back. It's a very, very in-your-face blue, and this is completely different than the first one. It's got even fewer elements in it that are similar to the standard bike back. So, except for the circle in the center, that's about all I see as a similarity. There's a lot of pretty intricate detail into this. Definitely a nice color to it. So, what do I think about these two decks? Well, first off, obviously you have a very low ink to stock ratio on the white, and then you have a very high ink to stock ratio on the blue. Well, does that really affect how they flow, how they handle? No, of course not. But they do flow pretty well. They don't really, you know, offer too many complaints. They're not the best out there for, you know, the flow and ease of use. But for durability, they're fine. I mean, they're about what you would expect from, you know, from the United States Playing Card Company for bikes. You know, they're perform just like them. You know, no big major flaws or major improvements. So I've got to say though, I like the white better because it offers that border, and they for color wise, they're much more consistent than the blue. And I doubt that the camera's going to be able to pick up on this, but there are some slight color, you know, variations here. And I'm going to try to show you what I mean by picking just a few. And they may all be the same color. I may be picking the same colors, excuse me. I'll fan these out and you might be able to tell this. But yes, I'll grab this one and this one, and you may be able to tell. But I wouldn't be surprised since this is a bad camera for color distinguishing. The one behind it is lighter than the one in front. And that is something when you have it in front of you, you can really tell. The color's not consistent. They're very close, but just no cigar in that regard. And but you know, I've seen decks that are colored that are much better about this. They don't have these dark chunks in them the entire time. And I've turned them around every way I can think of, but the cards are darker and some are lighter. And that's an error on their part. And you know, I don't know if you can tell the difference between these two, but there's definitely a difference in person. So with that in mind, I absolutely prefer the first edition. It's a little bit, I don't want to say refined, but it looks a bit more polished than the second one does. And that might be a personal preference here, but I do think these look a little bit more polished. They obviously, the cards themselves don't look any different than the blue faces, you know, the exact same. But for the backs, I think these definitely look better. And these are going to hold up better color-wise, just simply because there's not much color on them. These are going to do just like the black ones do, in that you're going to have issues of the color coming off and the white peeking through, and that's fine. But I prefer to get a black deck than a blue deck. And I've had other decks, like I've said, that are different colors, and they hold up better and they look more polished and more uniform in color than this one. So I think since it got discontinued, maybe they just are like, meh, and they slapped it together. But I don't know. The color's just wrong on this. But this is definitely great. But maybe I missed something. Maybe I should have touched on something that you see to be, worth mentioning. If that's the case, please let me know. If you like the blue better, let me know. If you like the white better, let me know. I'd like to see a vote and tell me which one do you like better. The blue, the second out of the series, or the white, which is the first out of the series. Tell me what you like better, and I think we'll get a good feel for what people like, what they don't like, what the subscribers do and don't look for in a deck. But yes, so reply down below, tell me what you think of these decks, tell me which one you like better, or maybe you don't like either of them. If that's the case, that's an absolutely valid opinion. So yes, reply below and you'll see me next time in the next deck review.